Hello, little programming alert. There's a error in production in this episode. For some reason in the recording, probably something to do with not checking, pre-record stuff well enough on my end. There's a kind of a consistent weird noise in the background of us talking. Luckily, the editing software that I use has a denoiser for situations like this, but it's still present, and it might take away a little something from the podcast, but luckily, due to that denoiser, it is somewhat listenable. It's pretty listenable. It's just, an annoying thing that had to be addressed, so be aware of that, and hope you enjoyed the episode. Welcome to Above Replacement Radio. I am your host, Chris Gianta. You know what Christy Mathewson wasn't worried about? SIERA. When you're thinking about Pedro Ciriaco, the only one that can compete is maybe Hannes Wagner's 1908 season. Over there on the other side of the screen is Daniel Kern.
Like, if we just clip together every time we've talked about him on other people's profiles, we've done a Mickey Cochran episode.
I can't get past Rabbit Marinville. It's not necessarily Hall of Fame. It's not necessarily above average, but we can guarantee you we are better than just the standard replacement level college sophomore.
And welcome to Above Replacement Radio, where we're talking baseball Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm your host, Chris Gianta. Over there on my actual right, as you cannot see on YouTube, is Daniel Curran. How you doing, Daniel?
Chris, I am doing great. We are just two days away from opening day. We've been waiting 156 days at this point. That's how long it was between Game 6 of the World Series and opening day. We finally made it to the end.
Yeah, we finally did, and this is an episode that you look forward to every year. It's
100%.
There's a few episodes you look forward to every year. There's like Hall of Fame ballot reveal. And then there's like season predictions, and planning out how you see the season going.
It's like playoff previews and
playoff previews, award season. They're fun podcasts to do, and this is one of them. And we're excited to talk about how this 162 game season is going to go.
162 game season.
Yes.
It's been 2 years since we've said that.
Yep.
Well, since anyone said that. We haven't said it on this show.
Yep, exactly. But do we want to get into any news first? There's some injuries going on.
So, Eloy Jimenez is out for 5 to 6 months.
Yeah, Eloy.
Injury bug's been hitting a lot of the AL East relievers. Kirby Yates is gone for the year with Tommy John. Nick Anderson's out to the All-Star break. Zach Britton. It's been news. Yep. Matt Barnes was out for a little bit, but now he's not out.
Yep. False positive COVID-19 test.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Luke Voit is out for, I think, a third of the season.
Yeah, they said Luke Voit wouldn't be coming back until May and possibly after that.
That's unfortunate. There was a whole thing. I don't know if you were seeing this today, but there was this whole controversy with the Yankees over, Aaron Boone didn't show up for his Zoom. Aaron Judge, was apparently feeling under the weather. And, Brian Cashman had to delay his Zoom press conference, and, everyone thought Judge was hurt again. But it turns out he was just feeling sick, but it was probably not COVID. He just has to do the COVID protocols, get a negative test, and he's expected to play on opening day.
Yeah, it's kind of weird when media happens like that, just how it goes. With the White Sox, Eloy Jimenez out. I feel like though they've kind of prepared themselves well.
They did.
In having a lot of guys that can take over in the corner outfield.
Yeah, Adam Eaton, Adam Engel. And Adam Engel is fantastic at defense too, which is not exactly a skill of Eloy Jimenez. Which obviously Adam Engel doesn't have his power, he doesn't have his offensive production, but on one side of the field, that's going to be a nice upgrade for Chicago, and to go along with a lot of already great hitters anyway.
Yeah, Engel is because I was researching this for the predictions, because Eloy Jimenez being out has an impact on the direction we think the White Sox are going to go, and I was pretty satisfied to see Adam Engel is one of the fastest people in the league.
Yep.
First of all, he gets a ton of infield hits, and yeah, he was the final out of that Giolito no-hitter. A huge, defensive play. Not everybody gets to that ball. He's, obviously a very good defender, and yeah, you got Adam Eaton as well, who they added in the offseason, and even Larry Garcia plays a little outfield, and he could play a role too. So
100%.
The White Sox, you hate to lose Eloy, but they've kind of set themselves up pretty well.
Yeah.
So any other injury news you want to get into?
I guess the other big one was Luke Voit.
Yep.
It's the league home run leader. Yankees, obviously not having Voit is going to suck for the time being, but I don't think it should delay anything.
Yeah.
Particularly. They still have a great. It's kind of a similar thing. Like they still have a great offense even with Voit out of the lineup. Who are they gonna have replacing him?
That's a good question.
Let me pull up their Fangraphs projected opening day roster without Voit.
Yeah, they
because I know Jay Bruce was like in the minors.
Mm-hmm. It always seemed like they had a first baseman like ready to break out earlier, like with Greg Bird, and that didn't end up.
That did not. It did for like a little bit.
Yeah.
He was cool in like 2015 for a hot minute.
I guess. Yeah, and Tyler Austin was another guy that was competing for that spot, but it's not 2017 anymore.
Fangraphs has Jay Bruce starting at first base for them, which is, sort of a similar play style to Voight, just not the same production.
Yeah,
especially
just not
at this
to
stage of his
not
career.
to the level.
But honestly, that's a guy that can. This is actually the only left-hander or pure left-hander in their opening day lineup. They have Aaron Hicks as a switch hitter, according to Fangraphs. They have a bunch of lefties on the bench. Jay Bruce is a guy that seems built for the short porch.
Yeah, he does. Like, he succeeded a lot in Great American Ballpark, which has, favorable dimensions of hitters. And yeah, with there being that 314 foot pole down the line, that he definitely seems built for the short porch. Seems to be fit to be a Yankee as well. Lots of strikeouts, lots of home runs.
Exactly. Fangraphs actually has him putting up a better slugging percentage than DJ LeMahieu.
Oh, that's very, very interesting.
By 10 points.
Does it say his age on there? Oh yeah.
Yeah, he is 34.
34. Oh, I thought
not
he was
the worst.
Thought he was a bit older.
Yeah, no, it's not too bad.
Yeah, so they got Jay Bruce. Maybe he'll be that guy in the Yankees lineup that just emerges out of nowhere. Even though he's already kind of made his name a little bit, he doesn't have high expectations, or hasn't really had that since 2019-ish. He was with the Mariners, I believe.
Yeah.
He was part of that crew that went 13-2, and then just vanished off the face of the earth. But the Kirby Yates news kind of stinks, but
the Blue Jays will be. Fangraphs actually wrote about how the Blue Jays are going to be fine without him.
Yeah, you kind of could foresee it a little bit. He had injury problems last year. He could have been the closer, but yeah, the Blue Jays have a good supporting cast behind him with Rafael Dolis, Jordan Romano,
exactly,
and a few other guys as well, who kind of emerged last year.
Yeah, Rafael Dolis and Jordan Romano were the main team. They did lose Anthony Bass, but they'll be fine.
Yeah, they should be all right.
Did they sign him to a one-year deal as well?
I would imagine so.
That's tough.
Yeah, Yates. Yeah, Yates. You didn't really, he should have probably won reliever of the year in 2019, but you don't know if he's going to repeat that success anytime. So, it's not the worst investment to lose. Just a guy you kind of wish you had.
For sure.
And Britton is supposed to be, Nick Anderson's out until
the All-Star break. We all know what kind of depth the Rays have in the bullpen, but this is obviously never a guy you want to lose, especially because the Rays are going to have to work a lot harder to get a division title.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. They lost, some of their starting pieces, so it's good to have as much depth as possible. And what was I trying to say? Yeah, Nick Anderson. He was selected as on the All MLB team for his relieving abilities, which I guess I did disagree with, but yeah, definitely not a guy you wanna lose. There's another thing I was thinking of, but it's totally escaped my mind.
There's just been too many injuries to even remember.
Yeah, and Zach Britton.
That's been old news though.
He, how long is he out for?
It's still at least like June, I think.
Yeah.
It's not great.
Yeah, so the Yankees, I feel like this hurts them more than it would your typical year, because I feel like the Yankees bullpen
is a little bit more depleted. Just a little bit, but it is.
And because we're doing a predictions episode, I looked at their bullpen ranks last year, and in terms of ERA, they were kind of middle of the pack. They didn't have Chapman the whole year, which hurt. But it's not really the same Yankees bullpen we came to know in the late 2010s. But and losing Britton is gonna hurt that.
Going back to the Blue Jays real quick. I was checking out a Fangraphs article about like who else is in the Blue Jays bullpen, and one of the guys listed was David Phelps. And I was looking around at his Fangraphs page, and something just seemed off to me. So I went and did some digging, and I quickly found a little something, and I can now confirm that David Phelps' 2020 season was the only season in baseball history, minimum 10 innings pitched, to have a strikeout rate above 35, a walk rate below 6, and a FIP above 5.25.
All right, here we go.
How about that?
A very weird year for David Phelps that I just found right now.
Yeah. How many home runs was he giving up?
Probably a decent amount. 7.
Yeah,
7 and 20 and 2/3 innings pitched. Yes. That's the one.
Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah, the home run ball really hurt.
His slash line against was 241, 294, 519, 813. People were just crushing the ball against him.
Yeah,
but he was doing everything else correctly.
I guess. Yeah, everything outside of home runs, David Phelps is doing okay. So I guess if he just doesn't allow guys to hit the ball over 100 miles per hour with the correct launch angle, you might see a good year out of David Phelps.
Should be fine,
yeah, he'll be perfect. But yeah, I guess that's the news for this past week.
Yeah.
A
lot of relievers going down. Some position players, mostly power hitters.
No big extensions. No crazy who signed for 5? Someone signed for like a 5-year extension. Or
Lance McCullers.
Oh yeah, Lance McCullers and Randy Dobnak.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm very happy for him.
He's getting $9 million guaranteed, and Lance McCullers signed for like a 5-year extension.
Yeah.
So that's good. He's a guy in his mid to late 20s, a good guy to have around in that Astros rotation, especially when Verlander and Greinke aren't going to be there forever, especially Verlander right now. He's in the last year of his contract, and he's not even going to be pitching. So McCullers is obviously a guy you wanted to keep around, and yeah, good on the Astros for making that investment. So now I guess we go into prediction time.
We do it.
All right, so we'll be doing a full standings predictions, and we'll explain why we have each team where they are. After that, we're going to go into our awards picks, because everyone does awards picks. They're fun. It's unlikely that you'll land on many of them, but it's fun to take those shots. And then after that, in our hypothetical regular season finished world, we'll go into the postseason predictions, which not everyone does, but last year those went really well for us.
It did.
Yeah, we
absolutely nailed it.
We had the Rays and the Dodgers in the World Series before the season started.
I feel like we might just have the same World Series again. Who knows?
It's possible. Yeah,
It's possible.
It's as Joe Rogan would say, it's entirely possible that this is a thing that we have matched up. So I guess, and we'll probably snake it. So one of us will talk. We'll do our NL Central first because we're going in the order that we went for previews. One of us will do the NL Central first, and then they will do the AL West second. You want to go first?
I'll go first. So are we alternating order on each award, or am I just doing all my awards first?
Awards we do after the full standing.
Oh, we're doing full standings first.
Yes.
Cool. All right. So for my American League East prediction, I have in fifth. We'll go ascending. Fifth place, I have the Baltimore Orioles. Not much explanation needed there.
Mm-hmm.
In fourth place, I have the Boston Red Sox, and maybe that'll be different on Chris's chart, but I have the Red Sox. In third, I have the Toronto/Buffalo/Untitled Blue Jays. We don't really know where they're going to be. Second place, I have the Tampa Bay Rays, and first place, I have the New York Yankees. So I guess I'll answer probably one of the main questions is Rays over Blue Jays. The Blue Jays have obviously made a lot of improvements to their team. The Rays have lost some people. I've trained myself to never question the Rays.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think after Blake Snell, after Charlie Morton, they'll still find a way to make the playoffs and finish second in this division.
Yep.
That's about it.
All right. So for my American League East, I have the Orioles in last. They have some guys to pay attention to, unlike how we saw it last year. And the year before that, there wasn't really much to look out for. There are reasons to watch the Orioles, but especially in a competitive division like the American League East, it's going to be hard for them to finish above fifth. And fourth, I also have the Red Sox. They're a team, they're going to improve from last year for sure, but they have stiff competition ahead of them. It's very possible that they'll end up being the best fourth place team in all of baseball. There's a lot of reasons to be optimistic. Their rotation is going to look a lot different than it was last year. They have Erod back in the mix. Nick Pivetta is going to be probably making a difference. Tanner Huck eventually in the season.
Did you see him today in spring training?
Yeah,
he looked nice.
Yeah, 4 1/3 scoreless from Tanner Huck, or Houck or whatever.
It's Houck.
Tanner Houck. And eventually he will be in the mix, making a difference in that starting staff. It's just not the deepest of staffs, scary lineup, in a way, and but also bad bullpen. So I have them in fourth place. In third place, I have the Blue Jays again.
Place, you mean?
In third. Yeah, third.
Fourth.
Oh, in third place. In fourth place, I have the Red Sox. In third place, I have the Blue Jays. It's kind of similar to your reasoning in that, I think, talent-wise, I guess maybe the Blue Jays have the advantage, but I do like the Rays' depth the same way I did last year, especially in the bullpen. They did lose some starting pitchers, but they also added Rich Hill and Michael Wacha, who may be able to make a good contribution this year, and their bullpen looks just about the same, except Nick Anderson is injured now.
Nick Anderson is hurt, and they lost John Curtis to the Marlins.
Oh, right. They lost.
They'll be fine.
Yeah, they still got a bunch of guys: Fairbanks, Castillo, a ton of guys. Brian Thompson, I think this is Brian Thompson. Yes, Brian Thompson. And I think the Rays and Yankees will finish above them. The Blue Jays, I pointed out, we pointed out their bullpen, some of their better guys, but it doesn't have necessarily the depth. And then, Rays in second, and then Yankees in first place. And by the way, Rays will be my second wild card team. Yankees will be in the second seed of my playoffs. The Yankees, I like the addition of Jameson Taillon for sure. Luis Severino will probably be coming back around mid-season. And over, a 162-game season, I think it plays out more in the Yankees' favor. Garrett Cole, I think he might he'll probably do better than he did last year, even though it was a very good season. And the lineup is very good. Bringing back LeMahieu was huge. He's going to be the staple of that lineup. And of course, Gleyber Torres should probably do a little bit better. Gio's going to keep doing his thing, and Clint Frazier will probably have a bigger impact in this year. So basically the lineup is a big reason to have them in first, and a somewhat rebranded rotation a little bit from last year might help them out as well. And Aaron Boone calling the shots. He's been better than he was initially in 2018. So
Yeah, he was
a good guy calling the shots. So yeah, I have them in the second seed. So now on to what are we going to do then?
AL Central.
AL Central.
Yeah.
American League Central.
Very personal note. I have 4 fantasy baseball drafts this year, and I got the number 1 pick in 3 of them, which is not really where I want to be because it's all snake drafts.
Yeah, so you'll just get Trout, and then
Fantasy's a little different.
and then the 12th.
By the way, shout out to
player.
ESPN. Shout out to ESPN for putting Nick Solak above Ke'Bryan Hayes in the rankings. That's tough. I don't know how you're supposed to justify that one.
Yeah,
He is also ranked above. He is ranked 137th. He is ranked ahead of Ke'Bryan Hayes, Joe Musgrove, Trey Mancini, Brad Hand, Pablo Lopez, Gio Urshela, Wilson Contreras, Ryan Mountcastle, Nick Madrigal, CJ Crone, Yasmani Grandal, Jorge Soler, Travis Darnell. That's just to name a few. Kyle Lewis is there, Max Kepler. Yeah, I don't get it.
yeah, it's weird.
I mean, I think he has potential, but really,
Yeah, I don't know. It is weird though, because their rankings don't always reflect their even projections of the
no.
guys. Like some guys will.
Chris, you had your first ever fantasy draft last night, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
Fantasy baseball draft. But the AL Central. So in 5th place, in last, I have the Tigers, repeating once again. There are some young guys coming that are going to have full seasons this year, like Casey Mize and Tarek Skubal. You don't know, you can't guarantee that they're going to have success. They weren't great last year, and the rest of the starting staff, I think their starting staff had the worst ERA in all of Major League Baseball. I like what Candelario and Castro have on the left side of the infield in terms of offense. There are again reasons to watch the team, but I think they will be behind the Royals, Indians, Twins, White Sox. In 4th place, I have the Kansas City Royals. They've made some quality additions. I think they'll be 4th. There's not really that much to add to that. They're still a developing team, not really going to be fighting for a playoff spot, but they'll be somewhat competitive in a way. 3rd place, Indians. They finished in 2nd last year. They lost Carlos Carrasco and Francisco Lindor. Didn't necessarily substitute them with that much. They added Eddie Rosario, which will help the outfield, but
the perennially struggling outfield.
Yeah, but the historically bad Cleveland outfield.
Yep.
But I have them in 3rd because I like what the Twins and White Sox did with their off seasons much better than I like with what the Indians did with their off season. So finally in 2nd, I have the Minnesota Twins, who will be my first wild card team. Them bringing back Cruz was big. Them signing Alex Colomé was very big, and I think the addition of Andrelton Simmons is going to be somewhat impactful. And I think they're reigning division champions from 2020 and 2019, and I think with what they were able to maintain in the offseason with, having Cruz back and maintaining some good bullpen pieces by adding Alex Colomé, I think that garners them a playoff team. But I still have them behind the White Sox, even without Eloy Jimenez. Like we mentioned before, I like what I see with what they can replace with Eloy Jimenez with Adam Eaton, Adam Engel, and Leury Garcia. Eloy Jimenez is probably going to produce maybe between 4 and 5 wins above replacement. Those three combined are probably going to produce around 2 wins above replacement. So maybe there's like a 2 or 3 win difference. I still have the White Sox winning the Central. I love the addition of Lance Lynn and what that rotation looks like with Giolito, Lynn, Keuchel, and you have Cease back there and potentially Michael Kopech. And I also really like their bullpen with Aaron Bummer. Now the newly added Liam Hendricks. Evan Marshall was my player to watch. And there's plenty of other guys like Cody Heyer, Hewer, and
Garrett Crochet.
Yeah, that was lefty I was thinking about, Garrett Crochet.
He was the second reliever taken in my F4 draft last night.
Nice.
Behind Josh Hader.
There we go. But yeah, that's my AL Central. What is your AL Central look
Let's
like?
just say we did not agree on this.
All right.
We had the exact same AL East. We most definitely do not have the same AL Central.
All right.
All right. I also have the 5th place Tigers.
Okay.
We both have that. Not much to say there. I think this team, they optioned Renato Nunez to the minors, which is very weird because he was kind of the only third baseman they really had on their roster. So as of now, it seems like they're gonna have. Are they gonna stick Miggy at first?
Where does Candelario play?
Third.
Yeah, Candelario plays third.
Yeah, which is very weird. But nonetheless, that's kind of what they're doing. This is kind of an experimental year for them. I think Casey Mize needs to take a step forward. Tarek Skubal needs to take a step forward. This is very much a development year. There's not much more to say. In 4th place, I have the Cleveland Baseball Club. This is a team, like Chris mentioned, they lost Francisco Lindor. They lost Carlos Carrasco. They were really uninspiring offensively last year, and they didn't really do too much to add to that. They added Ahmed Rosario and Andres Jimenez.
Right.
But then again, look what they got to replace in that lineup.
Mm-hmm.
The pitching is obviously great. The bullpen is very meh, especially without Brett Hand. But the Cleveland Baseball Club this year is pretty much going to be a testament to how much a starting pitching staff can carry a squad.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's very far. In 3rd place, I have my sleeper team, the Kansas City Royals. This team is a lot deeper and has a lot more talent than most people realize. Their 1 through 7 spots in the lineup are very good. On Fangraphs, it is Whit Merrifield, Andrew Benintendi, Adalberto Mondesi, Carlos Santana, Salvador Perez, Jorge Soler, and Hunter Dozier. Very exceptional. In the rotation, they have Brad Keller, who's coming off a really good year. Mike Minor coming back to give him some experience. Overall, I think he'll be a decent pitcher. And then they obviously need guys like Brady Singer and Chris Bubich to develop as much as they can, take a step forward, which I think is very possible. And then to round that out, they got Danny Duffy. And in the bullpen, this is where we're talking. This is where we're cooking with gas. Greg Holland coming back. I don't know. Right now he's listed as the closer, but I don't know if they actually plan on doing that. It could just be a nostalgia thing, and they can move someone else to close very easily because they got the options. Josh Stumount, Scott Barlow, Jesse Hahn, Wade Davis coming back, Jacob Junis. They got a lot of guys in that bullpen, Chris. Not a lot of people are talking about it, and I think that they can hover around 500 and get third in that division.
Mm-hmm.
In 2nd place, I got the Chicago LaRussas. I got the Hall of Famer baseball persons.
Yep.
I'm gonna talk a little bit more about this later, but one thing that I think about Tony La Russa hiring is that it's going to pay a lot of dividends in a potential playoff series, but not so much in the regular season. Because I think Tony La Russa's biggest struggle is going to be getting the attention of this club.
Mm-hmm.
More so at least than in-game managing. I think he's a fine in-game manager, and I think he'll adapt to the modern way of doing it quicker than most people think. But in the regular season, I don't think it's enough to beat the Minnesota Twins. That offense is just too good. Nelson Cruz coming back was huge. Colomé in the bullpen is a nice add. And I really do think that the Twins are going to repeat as champions in the American League Central.
All right. And now we get into the American League West.
Yeah.
All right.
So, My last place team is the Texas Rangers. Not much to say there. This is probably the team in the worst spot of any team in the majors right now. They only have one valuable trade asset. They don't have a farm, and they don't have really any reason to be good this year. So the Texas Rangers, very uninspiring franchise. They're kind of just relying on the development of a couple guys, Nick Solak, Sam Huff. But even then, it's not going to be enough. In fourth place, I have the Seattle Mariners. I think this team is pretty good. I think we could see a good step forward from them this year, especially in the starting rotation. James Paxton is obviously back to go along with guys like Marco Gonzalez, Justice Sheffield, Justin Dunn. I really do hope to see a lot of development. You also have Jared Kelenic coming up this year to go along with reigning Rookie of the Year Kyle Lewis. Kyle Seager's probably going to play his last year in Seattle, just like we heard from Kevin Mather. Not too much else to say about that, I guess. In third, I have the Oakland Athletics. That's probably a bold prediction considering they won the division last year, but I really think the subtractions of Hendricks and Simeon are really going to hurt. Especially because, Matt Olson's obviously been great. Matt Chapman's obviously been great, but how long can they carry this club to being a perennial, competing team? And because, two other teams in this division got better, and one of them is my second place team, the Los Angeles Angels. I really like the moves that Perry Manassian made when he came in this offseason. He brought in Rysel and Jose Iglesias. That takes away two holes in the team in shortstop because Simmons had left and in bullpen. And I know that the biggest problem on this team is obviously starting pitching. And that's fair. They didn't really do a ton. They slapped down a Jose Quintana and an Alex Cobb, which isn't great, but they have depth. I mean, Dylan Bundy's coming off of a Cy Young caliber season, and he's also going into a contract year, which gives him a lot more motivation to pitch well this year. You got Quintana, Cobb. You have Andrew Heaney, who I think can take a step forward. You have Griffin Canning. You have Patrick Sandoval. Jaime Barria as well. These are guys that they're not great, but they're serviceable to go along with a very good lineup. I mean, I don't really think I have to get into why their lineup is great. I think we all know it. And I think we can see a second place finish out of them this year, which is some progress. And I have the Houston Astros winning this division. Not much to say. They brought back Michael Brantley. They're getting Yordan Alvarez back. They are losing Justin Verlander. So the pitching staff is a little bit of a worry, but I think this division isn't as competitive as in years past. So right. I think kind of just by process of elimination, this team is the best one.
All right, so that is Daniel's American League West. I also have the Rangers in last place. I mean, if for context on the Rangers, my Rangers question for Daniel this year was, will they repeat as the worst record in the American League? Daniel said yes, and I probably would agree with him with that statement because they're in the worst position in baseball. Their best guys mostly have left. They traded Lance Lynn.
The only guy they really got was Dane Dunning.
Yeah, they got Dane Dunning, who will carry the staff, I guess. But offense doesn't look good. Pitching doesn't look good. Nothing looks good for the Rangers. The Mariners,
opening day starter Kyle Gibson.
Yeah, there we go. I mean,
I'd be so happy if it was 2014.
Yeah, exactly. Kyle Gibson doing well for the Twins back then.
Yeah.
No. In fourth place, I also have the Seattle Mariners. Seattle Mariners are an intriguing team. The outfield looks good when Kelenic will join Kyle Lewis. The rotation is also intriguing with Marco Gonzalez at the top, James Paxton following him. It looks pretty intriguing. I don't know what the bullpen looks like. It probably looks.
Rafael Montero is closer.
Yeah, similar.
That's about all you need to know. It's not good.
Not too optimistic about the bullpen, but they are intriguing, especially in future years to come. They will be a fun team to watch. Yet, I mean, J.P. Crawford made some improvements last year. They're going to be a fourth place team in my mind. Third place, I have the Los Angeles Angels. I think their additions will help in the offseason with Iglesias coming in. sometimes worry about his health, but when he does play, he's actually a pretty good shortstop. Dylan Bundy, I like at the top of the rotation, and Heaney and Canning are decent, 2-3 type guys. And you have the two best players in the American League, I would say.
Yeah.
In Mike Trout and Anthony Rendon, also. Got to mention those two. So those guys will be a big help. Who else is yet to be mentioned? Jared Walsh. Jared Walsh, who was just banging home runs in September.
David Fletcher.
In September last year. David Fletcher, very good. He's playing second base now.
Justin Upton.
Justin Upton.
Not really.
But yeah, Fletcher is.
Max Stassi, 86 OPS last year.
Yeah, Max Stassi was great as an offensive catcher last year. Shohei Ohtani should have a bounce back year
if he stays healthy. It's a huge if.
Yeah, but I do have them finishing behind both the A's and Astros because their rotation depth doesn't look great. Their bullpen outside of like Rizzo Iglesias, not the best either, but not the deepest of divisions. Number 2, I have the Houston Astros. I was thinking about putting the Astros as the AL West champions, but I think their offense, it's not quite the same. I think they had a team OPS plus in the low 90s last year. They are adding Yordan Alvarez, but they are losing George Springer, which is going to be not great, especially for both your outfield and just your offense. And they also lost John Reddick as well. Also, I think manager versus manager. I think Bob Melvin has coached these types of teams before, where you've lost some guys and you need to succeed. So in first place I have the Athletics. They're going to be my 3rd seed in the American League playoffs. Even without Liam Hendricks, they have an extremely good bullpen. They led in bullpen ERA for a reason. It wasn't all Liam Hendricks. We pointed 2 of them out for the players to watch, with Jake Diekman and J.B. Wendelken. They also added Trevor Rosenthal, who was extremely good last year. He also has closing experience. Yusmeiro Petit had a very good year. A bit of a volcano, but he did have a good year last year. The rotation, I don't know. It looks like a bunch of number 3s, but if you have 5 3s, you don't really have a number 4 or number 5. You got Bassett, who I can't rely on having a low 2 ERA again. You got Luzardo, Minaya, Fires, and another guy that
Montas.
Frankie Montas, yes. Frankie Montas. Those look like guys that are middle of the rotation guys, and when you have that and a very good bullpen, I think that's a pretty good situation. And
absolutely.
And you get a full year of Matt Chapman. Matt Olson, I think, should bounce back. Simeon will probably be a tough loss, but I think they'll be able to make up for it. And also, Robbie Grossman was a bit of a loss as well. But they have some outfield power with Mark Canha,
Ramon Laureano,
Steven Piscotty. I think they will. I guess it's hard to say digress from last year because they only played 60 games. They won't have less wins than last year, but I think their winning percentage might take a dive. They'll probably be in the low 90s, maybe even upper 80s for wins, in my opinion. So yeah, that's my American League West. Now we go to the National League East. So, National League East, very intriguing. So intriguing that I have a playoff team from last year in last place, finishing 5th. The Miami Marlins. I don't think their success from last year is necessarily repeatable. Their Pythagorean win-loss was not very good. They won a lot of 7-inning games. They went 10-4 in 7-inning games, and therefore 21-7 and 25 in regular games. So, I don't really trust them. Their offense, I don't love. I really like the top of the rotation with Alcantara, Lopez, and Sixto Sanchez, but that's not going to carry them. Their bullpen isn't great. They'll probably be in the low to mid 70s in terms of wins this year. In fourth, I have the Philadelphia Phillies. I'm no longer I just no longer can get on their bandwagon. They had a bit of a bandwagon in 2019 after some signings with Harper, McCutchen. They added Segura and Real Muto. That bandwagon kind of, went away. I thought they were going to be a second place team last year. That didn't work out. They blew it at the end of the season. And they did bring back Real Muto. They brought back D.D. Gregorius, but they didn't necessarily add very much. I guess their biggest additions were like Archie Bradley and Jose Alvarado. We'll see if Jose Alvarado can get back to his 2018-2019 form. We'll see about that. But the rest of the bullpen is the Phillies bullpen that we knew in 2020, which was a historically bad bullpen. And then their top of the rotation, of course, looks great. Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler, two of the best pitchers in the National League. And then after that,
you got Matt Moore.
You have Matt Moore, legend of JPBL or the Japan Baseball League. You got Matt Moore, so basically the equivalent to Maddox, Glavine, Smoltz there, and but after that, it's not great.
Moore is definitely the Glavine of that group.
Yeah, Moore. Yeah, the lefty,
and then
the soft throwing lefty.
Yeah, and then Wheeler would probably be Maddox, and then Nola would probably be Smoltz.
I guess, yeah. So yeah, I have the Phillies in fourth place. They're just, I don't have as much hope for them as I do the rest of the National League East. In third place, I have the Washington Nationals. They had a rough year last year. I think they'll be a somewhat average team, probably a little above average. You got Strasburg basically coming back, who pitched 2/3 of an inning last year. He will be pitching presumably a full season this year. That'll help improve the team. And I do like the offensive additions that they made. You had Josh Bell as a player to watch. Also, Kyle Schwarber is a guy that had a tremendous 2019, especially in the second half. So yeah, I like the offensive additions that they made, and top of the rotation looks pretty good. I guess Corbin wasn't exactly the same. Scherzer wasn't exactly the same, even though he had high threes. Okay, yeah, the top of the rotation, it's not quite the same, which is why I have the Mets and Braves over them. Mets, I have at number 2 in the division. I have them as the second wild card team. People point out the big addition of Francisco Lindor, but that wasn't the only big move that they made. They added Carlos Carrasco in that deal, which is going to solidify that rotation. Not only that, the Mets are basically adding.
Ooh, the Mets are bringing back the black jerseys.
Nice.
Wow, Steve Cohen just announced. That is huge.
So
that's a big addition.
That's a big addition to the Mets this year. The Mets are guaranteed adding 2 starting pitchers and probably a third one middle of the season. They're adding Marcus Stroman, who didn't pitch for them at all last year. They're adding Carlos Carrasco, who came from the Cleveland baseball team, and they'll probably be adding Syndergaard later in the season. I guess they did lose Steven Matz, but all in all, it's
you always forget about Steven Matz.
I do. I do. Even in the Blue Jays predictions, I didn't mention him at all. Yeah, the Mets, I have in second because their starting rotation improved tremendously. James McCann, I think, is going to be a big addition. Trevor May was a pretty big addition to their bullpen. I think they will be a playoff team this year, unlike the past few years. And in first, I got the Braves. They got one of the deepest rosters in all of baseball. The addition of Charlie Morton is going to be big, and the addition of Mike Soroka.
I think he's coming back in like April.
Yeah, he'll be back. A couple weeks into the season, and you'll have a pretty deep rotation there. Everybody knows about the lineup. They kept Marcell Ozuna on the team, and that lineup is going to be just as good as it was last year. Just a crazy deep lineup, and Dansby Swanson's even improving. It's going to look very good for the Braves, I believe. And bullpen is still pretty good. So not much to explain about the Atlanta Braves and why I believe they will be a first place team in the National League. They're going to be my second seed in the National League playoffs.
Okay, we completely forgot to mention playoffs, but that's okay. I have very similar predictions to you in this division. I have the Marlins in last as well.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like last year was. I still think that a lot of people on this team have potential and that they can impress some people, but I just don't see them finishing ahead of any of the four teams. If they're in the NL Central, I could probably have them as like second or third, maybe.
Yeah.
But they're in this division.
Exactly.
In fourth, I actually have the Nationals. I think a lot of people in this. I'm very skeptical on a lot of the people on this team. Scherzer's not getting any younger. Strasburg's not getting any younger. Corbin's not getting any younger. Lester's already not young. They have a very old team and Juan Soto and Victor Robles.
Yep.
There's certainly a lot of high points to this team, but like the bottom third of that lineup is not good. Starlin Castro, Yan Gomes, Josh Harrison, pitcher spot. That's not what you want.
Yep.
None of that. And I mean, Kyle Schwarber can be very hit or miss. Victor Robles hasn't exactly fully developed as a hitter yet. I got no complaints on Soto, Turner, and Bell. But other than that, the Nationals really do concern me, because I feel like this could be a transitional year for a lot of the players on this team.
Right.
In third, I have the Philadelphia Phillies. You kind of touched on a lot of what I wanted to say. The bullpen obviously is bad, but I think adding Archie Bradley is going to make a lot of others better, because Hector Neris has had to step up in roles that he just isn't fit for a while.
Yep.
And I think that he would be much better as a 7th or 8th inning guy.
Mm-hmm.
He could be a much better bridge builder to guys like Bradley or Alvarado if need be. Because, we all know that the Phillies were a bullpen away from being in the playoffs last year. And they really didn't lose anything last year, like other than Jake Arrieta?
Yeah.
Who wasn't really contributing for them anyway. So I think the Phillies are going to finish third. In second place, I have the New York Mets. Coens have taken over. They have their second new GM of the offseason in God, why can't I remember his name? Zach something.
I don't even remember the news of the hiring.
I remember it. Zach Scott. Yeah.
Zach Scott.
Yep. Very interesting story of how he got his job, but that happened. They added Lindor. They added Carrasco. This team is very deep now. They have a lot of good pitchers in the rotation. They have a lot of good pitchers in the bullpen. And they have a lot of good hitters. There's not much else to say because you kind of covered it all. And then I have the Braves four-peating as champions.
Correct.
Yeah, wow. Well, we're getting old. Remember when they were ahead of schedule?
Yeah.
There's not much else to say. I think Charlie Morton's going to be a huge improvement. I think Ian Anderson is going to take a step forward. I think Kyle Wright is going to take a step forward. Bryce Wilson should be able to take a step forward. If he comes back from injury, Tuki Toussaint hopefully will take a step forward. I'm not sure what his timetable is looking like right now, but I know he is hurt. He's got no timetable right now. But this team, they have a great offense still. They have a bullpen's a little iffy, but I think that they should be able to do the job more often than not. And I still have them winning the division.
Yeah. And one thing we both did mention, obviously you got Max Fried at the top of the rotation, holding it down.
That's just a given.
Yeah, it's just a given. But if you didn't watch any baseball last year, Max Fried's pretty good now, really good.
I remember he had a weird good season in 2019 where it was he's a low 4s ERA, but trust me, he's good.
Yeah.
And last year he was a Cy Young candidate.
Right. Yeah. 7-0 with a mid-2s ERA.
Exactly. So now we go to the NL Central.
Yeah,
This is a very
exciting division.
Yeah. We might see an 89 win team come out on top.
Yeah.
Obviously, I have the Pirates in 5th. There's not much of an explanation needed. Go Brian Hayes. Next. I got the Chicago Cubs finishing in 4th. This team is just very uninspiring to me. I've mentioned I don't see a single person on this team having a career year in 2021. I don't see Chris Bryant having a better season than what he's already done. I don't see Anthony Rizzo doing that. I don't see Javier Baez doing that. Kyle Hendricks, I think, will still be kind of par for the course, but I don't see him overdoing. I don't see anyone outperforming expectations except for
him winning an ERA title again.
No, I don't see anyone outperforming expectations except for just like the Adbert Alzolais of the world. That was my guy to watch on this team. This is going to be a rough year. It's going to be the end of an era for the Cubs because Bryant and Rizzo are both free agents. Rizzo just announced he's not going to re-sign or sign an extension, so he's getting the hell out of there as soon as he can.
Yeah.
And Bryant is, you probably know how he feels about the organization. I don't want to say that in a bad way, but the service time thing is there. It happened, and it's showing right now. So he's got to make a case as to why they should have not done it and left him with less value. Because if he performs well this year, he's going to get more value than if he had not done the service time.
Yep, exactly.
In 3rd place, I have the Cincinnati Reds. This team was legendarily unlucky last year. They had a 245 team BABIP, which was the 2nd worst in the live ball era. Yeah. This team was very, very, very unlucky. I think they can still hover around 500. Obviously, they're losing Trevor Bauer, which is tough to justify them being better than last year, but they still have, they have Castellanos, they have Moustakis, they have Winker, they have Votto who's still doing it, they have Senzel who could develop. They have a lot of strong guys in that lineup. They have some good starting pitching. The bullpen's a bit of an issue, especially with Rysel gone. That's that. In 2nd place, I have the St. Louis Cardinals. I think this is the consensus division winner, but they are just way too top-heavy for me. Paul Goldschmidt is awesome. Nolan Arenado is awesome. Jack Flaherty is awesome. Nothing else on that team is awesome. It's a bunch of meh to bad players.
Mm-hmm.
Like Tommy Edman, I think is okay. Paul DeJong, I think is okay. Adam Wainwright, I think is okay. I just don't see a ton of potential on this team. But I will say the back end of this bullpen is very good. I owe Cardinal fans one, in fact, because my player to watch on the Cardinals was Dakota Hudson. Turns out he got Tommy John surgery in September. That was very swept under the rug, apparently, because I didn't see it. But the back end of this bullpen is very good. Jordan Hicks is going to be coming back. That's 105 with movement. Andrew Miller is still doing it. We all know what he's capable of. And then you have Giovanni Gallegos and Genesis Cabrera, who both go under the radar. That's pretty cool. But otherwise, this team is just way too top-heavy for me to believe in them. And then I got the Milwaukee Brewers winning it. Chris, this team, they're a little top-heavy as well, but I think the supporting cast around the top-heavy guys are much better than what the Cardinals are offering. You have Christian Yelich, who's going to have a bounce-back year. Lock that in. You have Corbin Burns and Brandon Woodruff, who are both going to compete for the Cy Young. And you have Devin Williams and Josh Hader, who are both going to compete for Rolaids Relief Man of the Year. And then around that, you have Lorenzo Cain coming back. You have Jackie Bradley Jr. coming in. You have Colton Wong coming in. You had a lot of good guys on this team, and I think that it's enough to carry them in a weak division.
All right, so on to my National League Central. We have some differences, which worries me because you were pretty solid on the NL Central last year. I was not. In 5th, they got the Pirates. I feel like I'll be right on that. That's pretty. I feel like that'll happen. Just on a whim. In 4th, I have the Reds. I think, in my mind, personally, how I have it.
Sorry to pause, but the Blue Jays just released Francisco Liriano, which seems like very minor news, but MLB Trade Rumors accidentally put it out as Blue Jays released Francisco Lindor. Look at that. That's tough.
That's terrible. But yeah, I have the Reds in 4th. I think seedings or placements 2 through 4 in the NL Central are kind of interchangeable for me. I feel like they'll finish with similar records. Number 4, in 4th place, I got the Reds. Losing Bauer and Iglesias will hurt. I think their lineup is getting a bit older. I don't know what production we'll see out of Eugenio Suarez. Joey Votto's getting a bit older. I don't know what production they'll have out of the outfield. Jesse Winker will, I guess, Jesse Winker will probably have another good year, but not having the DH is also going to hurt the Reds as well, in my mind. And also a guy I didn't put as a guy to look for, but I think should be paid attention to as a guy who's probably going to come into that rotation is a guy named TJ Antone. You can look up the stats on that guy.
I thought he was just going to be a reliever.
Oh, is he going to be a reliever?
Yeah, he was a reliever last year, and I think he's just going to continue as such.
I think he made 4 starts for them last year, but it might have been like opening.
Let me check those starts, see how long he went.
Yeah, I think he pitched. He also pitched like over 30 innings, which might signify that he pitched for them.
In those starts, he went. I mean, the most he went in any outing was 5 innings, and that wasn't a start. Yeah, in his 4 starts, he went 5 innings, and then he went 5, or he went 4 1/3, 3 and 4. So he never went more than 5.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we are playing in a new game, but he'll be like, I don't know. If he does start, he'll be like a number 4, number 5 type guy. But his statistics were very good. So he might be a guy to watch. But all in all, I have the Reds in 4th because, they were okay to begin with, and they lost Bauer and Raisel Iglesias. In 3rd, I have your NL Central champions. I have the Milwaukee Brewers.
That's okay, because you know what? You had the Cubs in 4th last year.
I did. I have the Brewers there. I just don't like what they have after Burns and Woodruff. And, lineup-wise, I think Kane coming back and Bradley Jr. coming in is going to have a pretty good impact. But, outside of Yelich and, potentially David Vogelbach, Ryan Braun is on the open market. Like, if they don't have Ryan Braun, that might hurt them a little bit. So, yeah, I have the Brewers in 3rd because, also because I believe in the Cubs making a bit of a comeback. I have the Cubs in 2nd place. Not particularly the Cubs as a whole, but I think we're going to see some bounce back seasons, I feel. Chris Bryant had a very rough 2020. I think he's going to do a lot better than he did in 2020. Javi Baez as well. Same story with Javi Baez. He's going to have a lot better 2021 than 2020. And I think Anthony Rizzo also will make improvements. Their rotation looks a bit scary behind Hendricks and maybe Davies. I don't know how much I believe in Zach Davies as well, but he'll still be productive. But outside of Hendricks and Davies, it doesn't look great. But I see the Cubs having a much better offense than they did last year, even without Schwarber. I think they'll have some bounce back seasons, and I think David Ross will also manage decently. And in 1st place, I have the St. Louis Cardinals for mostly the obvious reasons. I think, they've, with the addition of Arenado, they look very good. Goldschmidt carries the lineup pretty well. I guess losing Colton Wong isn't great, but, Tommy Edman you can stick just about anywhere, and maybe he will go to 2nd base. The rotation is pretty interesting because, they have Jack Flaherty at the top, and then following him is going to be, Wainwright, Michaelis, the guy with the whose name I can't pronounce, who is
Kwang Hyun
Kim. They'll have him.
Michaelis still there, by the way?
I guess the whole year. Yeah, Michaelis signed an extension before 2019, I believe.
He had shoulder soreness in March of 2021.
Oh.
Because I was checking their. I remember I was checking their. He's got no timetable for return.
Well,
as of right now.
That's pretty interesting. But I have the Cardinals winning the NL Central with the 3rd seed in that division. All right, Now on to our final division, the National League West. Speaking of top heavy, this is a very top heavy division.
Yeah, I mean, I
1 and 2.
wrote quite a bit about it for the website that I write for, and I kind of said, yeah, there's some really good teams, there's some really bad teams, and there's some teams kind of in the middle.
Yeah. So in fifth place, I have the Colorado Rockies. The rotation looked somewhat promising last year, a little bit with like Freeland, Marquez, Senzatella, Gray. I don't know if they're going to be able to repeat that. They also lost Nolan Arenado, and I just see the other teams doing better than the Rockies this year. In fourth place, I have the San Francisco Giants. I think they were very close to being a playoff team last year. They went 29-31. They finished in third place in the division. I think there were some crazy years out of some of those offensive players that are just not going to be able to happen again. Wilmer Flores, Donovan Solano, even like Brandon Belt those guys aren't going to be able to repeat success necessarily. And I don't think, Mike Yastrzemski had a spectacular year. He's probably going to, take a bit of a step back from last year. Although I do like some of their additions, like Tommy La Stella. They kept Kevin Gossman around. That will be those will be good guys to have around. But I think ultimately their benefit will be guys to maybe dish off at the trade deadline, because I don't think they're going to be competing in the playoffs. And third, I have the Diamondbacks. And like I expect some guys in the Giants to regress, I expect guys on the Diamondbacks to progress, or at least have bounce back seasons. I don't think Madison Bumgarner isn't going to be as bad as he was last year. I think Luke Weaver is going to improve from last year, and Ketel Marte I think is going to improve. So, and also I looked at their schedule last year. They finished the season 14-6. I think they're going to carry a bit of momentum. They're much better than their last place finish from last year. They'll probably be around 500 in 2021. In second place, I have the Padres. They're going to be my first wild card team. I don't. We've talked so much about the Padres and Dodgers in the offseason. I think just the Dodgers. I obviously have them in first place. I have them as the first seed. Dodgers just have a little more depth than the Padres this year, I believe. Like, they have basically 7 or 8 starters they could go to that, they would all be like top 3 in an average MLB pitching staff. I like the Dodgers bullpen depth a little more as well. With keeping Blake Trinan, you got Kenley Jansen, you got Victor Gonzalez, my player to watch. You got Brusdar Graterol, who was very good last year, a good addition for them in 2020. Who else? You got a ton of guys in that bullpen, and some of the starters will probably have to be relievers for them. And yeah, I just like the Dodgers' depth as a whole. The lineup is amazing. So yeah, that's my National League West.
Sure. So my NL West, I also have the Rockies finishing last. I think the only reason to pay attention to the Rockies is to see Trevor's story, to see where he's going to go in July, and potentially where he's going to go in the winter of next year. Everything about this team outside of Trevor's story is very underwhelming. Marquez is very good. I will say that. He's probably the best pitcher their franchise has ever had, starting pitcher. Bullpen, everyone from the Super bullpen is gone. So that is the end of an era, as we'll put it.
Yep.
That was not good. This team is kind of a disgrace. They're not good. They're going to finish last. In second to last and fourth, I have the Diamondbacks. They're in a very, very weird spot, Chris, because they were very inconsistent last year. They started out 3-8, and then they won then they won 10 of 13, and they lost 18 of 20. So they were on a roller coaster ride last season. They got to find what their identity is this year, and I think that's what the theme of this season is for Arizona. They got to find out who they are, and I think there's going to be a lot of growing pains that come with that, and I don't think they're going to beat any of the other teams outside of Colorado. In third place, I have another one of my sleeper teams, the San Francisco Giants. Chris, you mentioned how you don't think that a lot of those guys are going to, or you think that a lot of those guys are going to regress. The Giants played way over their heads in 2019, and people thought they were going to regress in 2020, and they played that way in 2020. So they've repeated before, and I know it was in a smaller sample, but nonetheless, this team their season came down to game 60. It came down to a bad umpire call that ended their season. They made a lot of great additions in the offseason. They re-signed Kevin Gausman. They brought in Matt Whistler. They brought in Anthony Descalfani. They brought in Jake McGee. They brought in a lot of guys that I think are going to contribute well to this team. I think they could hover 500 and compete for the second wild card spot. And I have them finishing in third. So in second place, I have San Diego. They obviously made a lot of terrific acquisitions this offseason in the rotation, in the lineup, in the bullpen. They've done just about everything, but it's not going to be enough to unseat the Dodgers. That team is just too good. You know, they got better. I mean, one thing that a lot of defending World Series champions do is that they stay too stagnant. They try to keep the team together. This team is still adding. They've been above the luxury tax for a long time. They just won a ring, and they decided to bring in the highest paid pitcher in the history of baseball. This team is pretty much a lock for 100 wins this year. They're going to win the NL West.
Yeah, we agree on that. The Dodgers they're just so good. I mean, it's almost on the level where you could call them, a super team. Just so many stars, so many guys that have just won awards in general. So now I didn't even mean to do this, a little segue. Now on to the awards that we're here to talk about. They're just fun to do. So we're going to do them. So we'll just kind of briefly explain each one. American League Rookie of the Year. Who do you got?
Ooh, American League Rookie of the Year. I didn't go very edgy. I picked Wander Franco for this award. Mm-hmm. He's the number one prospect in baseball for a reason. He literally just turned 20 this year. He's going to do some great things in Tampa.
Yeah, for American League Rookie of the Year, I just don't know who's going to get called up, when they're going to get called up. There's a lot of good candidates with Wander Franco,
Jared
Kelenic, even like Adley Rutschman. Maybe we'll see
Andrew Vaughn.
Maybe we'll see Bobby Witt Jr. this year, Andrew Vaughn. But I hate to be biased here, and you know where I'm going with this. But I like what I saw out of the guy, and it was between him and Jared Kelenic, and then this guy has strikeout problems, but I saw Kelenic, his minor league stats, he's not afraid to strike out either. So American League Rookie of the Year, I have Bobby Dahlbeck. I like what I saw out of him last year. He looks good in the spring. Whatever, I'm going to have him as American League Rookie of the Year. National League Rookie of the Year.
Chris.
I think
Chris. You're going to come into here at this time of the night and you're going to ask me who my National League Rookie of the Year is as if you don't already know what I'm going to say.
All right, well, should we move on?
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Okay, for those who don't know, I'm going with Ian Anderson. He's my National League Rookie of the Year, and he's one of my favorite pitchers in this league.
Yeah, you know what? And I'm agreeing with you. I think Ian Anderson will be National League. I think Ian Anderson will be National League Rookie of the Year. Like I was comparing him to even like Sixto Sanchez, who's Rookie of the Year eligible still. But Sanchez has crazy stuff, but Ian Anderson has higher whiff rate, higher strikeout rate than Sixto Sanchez. So, Anderson had a 1.95 ERA in the regular season last year, a 2.46 expected ERA. I mean, yeah, he's very impressive. He seems he pitches like a veteran, and I think he'll nab that Rookie of the Year, and he'll play a vital role on the Braves as well. And yeah, the honorable mentions, I guess, are Key Brian Hayes, Sixto Sanchez, a few other guys. I think is Tony Gonsolin still Rookie of the Year eligible?
I believe so.
Gavin Lux is not Rookie of the Year eligible.
No, he had too many plate appearances.
Yep.
And he played in 2019 as well.
Yeah, he did. So he's not eligible. American League Manager of the Year.
I have Mike Matheny.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Very weird that I have a guy who's not going to make the playoffs in my book, but I have Mike Matheny as my AL manager of the year.
Yeah. I just went with a team who I guess kind of improves. It's hilarious what my American League.
I know. I knew you were going to do it once you had them winning the division.
But they are going from third to first.
And it's a first-year manager.
That's
always bonus points.
My American League Manager of the Year
is a Hall of Famer baseball person.
Tony La Russa is going to be taking home that award.
Yeah.
So now it's just hilarious how Manager of the Year works.
It's so stupid.
So National League Manager of the Year.
This guy has never actually won a Manager of the Year award, but he's had multiple opportunities to. I am taking Craig Counsell.
Craig Counsell. Oh, yeah.
Because I have the Brewers winning the division.
Yeah.
Kind of the only, I guess, surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to take not a first-year manager, but a second-year manager, Luis Rojas.
It's a good pick.
Yeah, because I don't really have any, I don't have a bunch of, changing of standings, so, I guess the Mets one is my biggest one. I don't have a lot of surprises in general, so I'll have Luis Rojas managing the Mets, winning National League Manager of the Year. On to the Cy Young, American League Cy Young.
I have Lucas Giolito coming home with this award. It just feels right this year. I mean, I know Garrett Cole's the favorite, but I really think that the White Sox are going to take a step forward. Even if they don't win the division, I think Lucas Giolito is going to be my AL Cy Young pick.
With the Cy Youngs, I kind of, I don't know. I have a thing in my head where guys from the Central, I don't know if they're going to be able to do it again. So I went very basic. American League Cy Young, I have Garrett Cole.
Yeah.
Taking it home. I think, his current status is best pitcher in the American League. Obviously that could change. But I think he'll probably have a mid-twos ERA. Kind of similar to his 2018 season, even though he's in a worse ballpark for him. National League Cy Young.
Yeah. My National League Cy Young is on another team that I don't have winning the division. I have Jack Flaherty winning it. Not much else of a... Of course, it's the classic. They went to the same high school. Why not?
Why not? Yeah, why not? Bounce back season for Jack Flaherty.
I'm sorry, Max Fried.
National League Cy Young. This guy's gonna sneak up on you, Jacob DeGrom.
Whoa!
Yeah.
To go along with Garrett Cole.
Yeah, Jacob DeGrom. Yeah, I think I really honestly do think he's just gonna he in a 100.
Can you make dark horse picks? Just throw two dark horse picks out there.
For American League, who would I say?
I know who you'd want to say.
National League, I was really considering Luis Castillo.
Okay.
Which I guess would be considered dark horse. Yeah. American League, I don't know.
Who's your favorite pitcher in the American League that could be a dark horse Cy Young candidate?
I just didn't want to.
Finalist twice in a row.
I just didn't want to annoy.
I picked Ian Anderson for the second straight year, and you're worried about annoying people with Hyunjin Ryu.
Well, I don't know. I don't have that many ties to Hyunjin Ryu other than I think he's good. The guy's.
He's your favorite pitcher in the league, is he not? He's up there.
He's
up
there.
I love talking about him.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess the other pick would be Hyunjin Ryu. He pitched in the East. He was very good in the East, facing a lot of good lineups. And yeah, I guess he would be my dark horse guy.
Yeah.
If you could consider him dark horse. And then yeah, National League. National League, I kind of considered Luis Castillo, but I think DeGrom ultimately, with my gut, I believe he's going to win. All right,
I can see that.
Yeah, I think he'll get 3 out of 4. He'll get a dynasty going. American League MVP.
So there's this guy. He's okay. He came from Millville, New Jersey, but the problem is he's 0 for 24 in his career when he bats on the road in the 5th inning with no one out through a 2-2 count. That's gonna be. It was a tough obstacle to overcome, but I'm gonna pick Michael Nelson Trout to be my American League MVP.
Nice. Yeah. Going with my basic theme, I'm also selecting Mike Trout. I was thinking about maybe putting DJ LeMahieu in there, but I don't know. I don't see him doing better than Mike Trout. And Mike Trout, actually, there was a quote card out there on social media saying, like, I had a down year last year.
He had a 162 weighted runs created plus.
Yeah, almost an OPS of 1,000, but it was worse than his career average. So, yeah, I guess it was a down year. So, yeah, I think, he, like DeGrom, I think if last year was played in a 162-game season, like those two would probably win their awards.
Mm-hmm.
National League MVP.
I'm going to pick him every single year until he wins it, unless he gives me a reason not to. I'm going with the same guy I did last year in Juan Soto.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good pick for sure.
Are you also going with your NL MVP from last year?
No.
Ah.
No. But he was a player to watch. But for similar reasons, I'm going with this guy because he had really good, baseball savant numbers. He is your National League Series champion. He's your National League Championship Series MVP, your World Series MVP, and your 2021 National League MVP.
Going into a contract
year, Corey Seager, I believe, will be winning.
Yeah.
Playing shortstop for the Cleveland Infants of my fantasy baseball team.
I made some edgy MVP picks just because Trout and Soto are very basic. So my dark horse MVPs are Rafael Devers and Josh Bell.
Oh yeah, those are good. What would dark horse for AL? I don't even know on my end.
I didn't really know either.
Maybe Teoscar Hernandez.
Teoscar Hernandez, maybe. George Springer, I guess.
Yeah, George Springer.
Not Rendon.
Bogarts.
Chapman. DJ LeMahieu.
Yeah, I feel like LeMahieu has gotten to the point where it's not that dark horse.
It's not dark horse, yeah.
Maybe Rendon. I don't know. Even that's not really dark horse either. But even I feel like
Alex Brand, he finished second once.
Yeah, National League.
Nick Solak.
Yeah, National League. Corey Seager is very intriguing to me. There's like 5 guys on the Dodgers that could win MVP this year.
Yeah, there are.
Betts, Bellinger, Seager. Maybe throw JT in the mix.
Will Smith.
Maybe a pitcher comes up, gets some MVP votes. Yeah, Will Smith. Yeah, so
and they have like 4 guys that can win Cy Young and a couple guys that can win Rookie of the Year.
Exactly.
And a guy that can win actually probably not.
It would be hard. He would have to win 120
He would have to win
games.
150 games to win Manager of the Year. Unless something serious happens and they have to bring in like the peanut vendor, maybe brings them to a 102 win season.
Yeah, right. Like
hopefully that doesn't happen.
Hopefully not. So now on to postseason predictions. Fared well for us last year. So we'll start off with the wild card series.
Okay.
What do you got?
So in the American League, I have the wild card game being the Tampa Bay Rays and the Chicago White Sox, and I have the White Sox coming out on top. And in the National League, I have the San Diego Padres and the New York Mets, to which I have San Diego taking it.
My American League wild card is Rays against Twins, and it's gonna fare very, very familiarly for the Twins, and the Rays are going to beat them in their home stadium. National League wild card, I have the exact same wild card matchup, and I also have the Padres winning because I guess their offense is better, and who knows if DeGrom is going to be starting that game. Now on to the League Division Series.
So in the American League, I have the White Sox taking on the New York Yankees, and I've been saying, I had this take, Tony La Russa's problems are going to come in the regular season, not the postseason. I have the White Sox taking down the Yankees in the DS.
There we go.
Yeah. And then in the other side, I have this might be my boldest prediction. I have Twins over Astros. I think Minnesota's finally going to do it. I think this is the year. They're not only going to win a game, but they're going to win a series for the first time since 2002.
An all AL Central ALCS.
That's right. And then on the flip side, I have LA over San Diego again, and I have Atlanta over Milwaukee.
My league division series predictions. I have the White Sox against the Rays, with the White Sox being majority home. I have the White Sox over the Rays. I have the Yankees against the A's, with Yankees being majority home. Yankees over the A's. So it'll be White Sox, Yankees in the ALCS. I have Dodgers over Padres also, and I have Braves over the Cardinals rather than the Brewers. So it'll be White Sox, Yankees, and Dodgers, Braves. So on to the League Championship Series.
I'm very nervous because we could still end up with the same thing.
Yeah.
I got White Sox over Twins, and I got Braves over Dodgers for a Braves White Sox World Series.
Oh, you got the Braves getting vengeance.
I do. They were up 3-1 last year. I don't see why they can't close it out this time.
Yeah, that's a good point. For my League Championship Series, I have the White Sox over the New York Yankees, and in the NLCS, I don't, the Braves could get vengeance, but I don't see the Dodgers getting down 3-1 like they did last year. I just can't, like, the Dodgers are just so deep. I just can't ignore it. I have the Dodgers over the Braves.
Okay.
In a Dodgers-White Sox World Series.
And then in the World Series, this is the year for Atlanta. I have the Braves over the White Sox. I don't know how many games, but I have that.
Yep. And I believe that for the first time in 21 years, we're going to have a repeat champion. I have the Dodgers over the White Sox. They're so good. And not a bold take whatsoever, I know. But yeah,
Boo.
I really do have the most basic of predictions this season because I really couldn't base anything off of 2020. So yeah, Dodgers over White Sox is my World Series. You have Braves over White Sox.
I do.
So we'll see how it fares in this season. Unlike we're not going to find out in 3 months like last year.
No.
Luckily.
I'm kind of glad that we have a difference this year.
Yeah.
Like, it was cool for us to both unanimously be rooting for the same World Series so we could be smart. Because we got it. Like, we don't have to worry about doing that again because we already got it done. So this year, we had a lot more discrepancy this year than usual, I feel like.
Yeah. The Brewers versus Cardinals is a difference, I think. What else? What other differences did we have? AL East was complete. AL East was completely.
AL Central was very different.
Yeah, AL Central was different. I have White Sox winning the division. I do understand the concern with La Russa there. AL West was different.
It was very different.
You had the A's in third. I had the A's.
You had the exact same standings as last year in the AL West.
No, because the Mariners finished in third last year.
Oh, they did finish ahead of the Angels. You're right.
Yeah. So only one flip.
It was weird.
There's probably at least one division where I had the exact same ones. Definitely not the NL East, not the NL West, not the AL East. Okay, so I didn't completely repeat on every single any division.
That always kind of scares me, like the idea of doing that.
Yeah, it's because like I don't know. Yeah, baseball doesn't work that way.
No.
Anyway, that does it for prediction episode.
Go watch some baseball this week.
Yes.
Take as much time as you need. I know it's a holiday weekend. You're probably going to be with your family if you celebrate that holiday, of course. Go out and watch some baseball. It's the first weekend.
Yeah, or I guess stay in and watch some baseball.
Probably don't go out and watch baseball. Unless you're going to a game, and if you are, stay safe.
Yeah.
Wear your mask. Don't be stupid, especially if you're going to a Rangers game.
Yeah, man, that's going to be fun to watch. Yeah. The Rangers having a full house. Anyway, we hope you enjoyed the predictions episode. You can follow us on social media. Follow me on Twitter at Chris_Gianta. Follow Daniel on both Twitter and Instagram at Daniel_current. And follow the show Instagram at Above Replacement Radio for all the updates. And we hope you enjoyed the predictions episode. And we hope to see you on Thursday for the finale of the history series.
Oh my God.
Talking about the 2002 Angels. No more history after that. And we hope to see you next Tuesday, I guess, after that.
Or we're talking about some real baseball.
We're talking about some 2021 current day regular season baseball.
We're going to have some how about that's.
Yeah.
We're going to have slightly alarming.
Yeah.
We're going to have whatever news we want to have. It's gonna be amazing.
It's going to be fantastic.
Oh my
So
gosh.
we will see you then. See you later.